Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today is Julie Hagen. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for asking. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. Thank you for taking the time to come on the podcast. Can you tell us where in the world are you tuning in from?
Oh boy. Well, right now I'm in Iowa. I'm actually in my childhood home basement, but I live in Kansas City. I'm just home for the week, saying hi to my mom and getting some fall action, which I love. It's my favorite season.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. So, Julie, what is it that you do and how do you do it?
Ooh, okay. I'm a psychedelic facilitator, so I work primarily with psilocybin, and my work is really split between microdosing and macrodosing. I originally started my professional career as a lawyer, but was deeply unhappy and anxious and depressed, and I transitioned into coaching. I started off by just getting my coaching certification, success coaching, executive coaching, and it is great. I use a lot of my coaching tools in my programs and my one-on-one work and my retreats. And I also felt like for myself and for others, sometimes people are doing all of the like right things. They're going to therapy, they're working through things, they're using their toolbox, and for some reason, it feels like it's just not working. It's like I feel like we've all had those maybe, 5 pounds. We're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I feel like I'm eating right. I'm going for walks and they're just not budging. And that's true for a lot of people. And sort of the way our brains are hardwired, they become very rigid and they don't leave a lot of room for changes, for neuroplasticity. So, new parts of our brains connecting with one another. And psychedelics do exactly that. They promote neuroplasticity. And I found that they made the changes easier to make and that with integration and intentional relearning those changes really stuck. So I was finally able to see the progress that I wanted to see from things like therapy and coaching with the use of microdosing as an additional tool in my tool belt, and I was so passionate about it that I pursued facilitation, and now here we are.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's really cool. Now, tell us in your own practice, how do you use psychedelic? Because I know 100% I couldn't be on it with mental health diagnosis. Is it for everybody? If not, who do you help with it?
That is such a good question. I actually have a great quiz if anyone wants to come to my profile. It's Julie Cyvonne, JuliCyvonne. You can find me on Instagram. If you just DM me the word journey, it'll give you a free quiz that you can take to determine whether or not microdosing is right for you. But there are a few things that just like right off the top, it's not the right choice because what psychedelics do is create more entropy in our brain, create more chaos is basically synonymous with entropy. And for some people, that's really good, right? So for my babes who are really stuck in anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, that's amazing. But for some people, like if you have been diagnosed with schizophrenia or some types of bipolar, like that's just not the right avenue for you because there's already a little bit too much chaos going on in our brain and we don't want to add more to the mix. So that's a great, easy way to determine. And then if you have any questions, I'm very friendly. You can always come and ask, like, oh, this is something I'm dealing with. Do you think this would be something supportive for me? And for many people, the answer is yes.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for clarifying because I am diagnosed with schizophrenia. You wouldn't be able to tell because you just can't. But yeah, thank you for clarifying. What is the difference between micro and macro?
So some people would tell you anything under zero point 0.5 grams for psilocybin is considered micro. I find that to be quite high because I believe microdosing is really transformation without any sort of intoxication. I don't want to be able to feel it at all. I think a safer measurement is like zero point 0.1 gram to zero point 0.3 grams. Zero point 0.3 grams, I really only recommend for like sometimes I work with like those big bodybuilder guys, their muscle mass is just like crazy. Sure, give them zero point 0.3, but like for most of the women that I work with, I really am a big proponent of slow and low. And so we started 100 milligrams for some people if they have treatment resistant depression, if they've been on SSRIs for a long time, not a great option for them.
Mhm.
And they really should think about like really starting off slow, really starting off maybe even at like 50 milligrams, not even 100 milligrams. So that is truly considered microdosing, and that's where you're going to be able to take it during the day and go about your day just fine. I like to tell people it is much less than consuming cannabis or having a glass of alcohol. It's even less potent than taking a Benadryl in terms of what it's going to do to shift your state. And that is for looking to see transformation in your day to day to make you more responsive, less reactive, have a nice clean source of energy versus something like coffee or a Red Bull that might leave you a little jittery. Macro dosing is anything to me over what you start to feel, right? So for some
Mm,
people, that might be like zero point 0.5. I would say when people think about like going on a journey, they're usually talking about at least 2 grams. 1 gram, you're definitely going to feel something. And then we have the hero's dose that a lot of people talk about, and that's like 4.5 grams, which is
mm.
not necessary. But just giving people a little perspective on sort of what that looks like. And this is all for psilocybin. Measurements differ for things like LSD and other substances.
Oh, okay, okay. How do you say it? Psilocybin.
Nailed it.
So that ingredient, is it found in psychedelics? What other drugs is it found in? What does it do to the brain and the body?
So psilocybin is the active compound and molecule in only magic mushrooms. So there are lots of different kinds of mushrooms, right? We have like shiitake mushrooms, the mushrooms we put on pizza. Those like one class. I'll just call them food, culinary mushrooms, right? Then
Yeah.
we have functional mushrooms, and these are mushrooms that we know can help us with certain aspects of our health. So, for instance, lion's mane is great. I think lion's mane rose in popularity after the pandemic because people said it really helped them with brain fog, which it does. It's great for cognition. Reishi is another functional mushroom that just has a wide variety of benefits. Chaga is a functional mushroom, can be really good for energy. You might see that in like your mushroom coffees. And then we have psychedelic mushrooms. So those are generally classified as psilocybes, just meaning they contain psilocybin. So psilocybin, you're only going to find in mushrooms. If we're looking at something like acid, right? The acid, the active compound is that LSD. I would try to say it out loud, but I know I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not even going to pretend to say it. It's a very long scientific word. And then we think about something like ayahuasca, which has its own separate psychoactive compounds. I like to say I look at psychedelics and psilocybin in particular from the functional perspective. So I don't like to get too into the neurotransmitter simply because we don't really know, especially for things like anxiety and depression, how neurotransmitters actually play a role. Like we talk about things like SSRIs, but there are a lot of studies coming out that SSRIs really aren't as effective as we have been told that they are, and that scientists truly don't know what effect depression or what effects serotonin has on depression. So when we
Mm,
think about functionality, the three biggest things that psychedelics, in particular psilocybin, do is one, increase that neuroplasticity, right? So we talked about our brain is making new connections, it's talking in new ways, which is great for people who go down the same rabbit hole time and time again, get really stuck in rumination. It also quiets down a part of our brain called the default mode network, which includes parts of the prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate cortex, and all of these parts of our brain are where our mind goes when we start to live in the past or worry about the future. It's like, you know, you get in the shower after a long day and you're thinking about your boss and what you should have said to him, and next time you're really going to tell him off. That's your DMN. Whenever you find yourself kind of wandering, ruminating, looping, that's what part of your brain is active.
mhm,
And a study out of Harvard says that happiness is not how hot you are, or if you have a lot of money, or if you have a
yeah,
fast car. It's honestly just how often are you present. Well, if you're in your DMN and you're thinking about something else, you're obviously not present. So when we quiet down the DMN, when we take blood flow away from that part of our brain, what we do
mhm,
is we force presence, and therefore we can force or increase our happiness. And that to me is the most profound change because when I really suffered from anxiety and depression, I was a ruminator and a looper, and I could not bring myself to the present moment, regardless of how hard I've tried. So it's just so liberating to be able to be engaged with you in this conversation, for instance.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, the mind, the brain, it's so complex. I even still don't know what's going on in my mind because That's one thing that I'm terrified of is my own mind because I can't control it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great point, right? And no one really knows fully what is happening in their brain. And that's why sometimes people really want to ask the question, why? Like, why did this happen? Why did she do that to me?
Mhm.
Why, why did I get left, right? And I like to say that why is actually the least useful question that you can ask because you're never going to fully know why because no one 100% understands completely their motivations.
Mhm.
Even when we think about, like, I just had scrambled eggs for lunch. Why? Well, there were so many factors that went into it, right? I had a call before this. I really wanted to go get like a sandwich, but I didn't have time. The eggs were there, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so multifaceted. So instead of asking, like, why did this happen or why is this going on? I like to focus on questions that start with what and how. Like, what do I want to do about it? This is the way it is. How do I want to move forward? So, it is really overwhelming. It is really scary, but sometimes I think it's nice to just remember the playing field is level and no one knows what's going on up there, really.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's really true. Yeah. So talk with us about some misconceptions when it comes to mushroom. I did a few part series on my diagnosis, which is schizophrenia and depression and so on. I lose count of labels of of coming in a place where I don't really judge what kind of mushrooms people inhale, but also sharing my experience and to caution people with schizophrenia because it can flip just like that for them. As I can see, there are some very, very good examples and work when it comes to mushrooms, especially hearing what you're doing. I think it's incredible. I'd love to hear some misconceptions and how do you tackle those?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your experience so openly. Um, I think, yeah, it's just we have so many preconceptions and I think this is true for both of us, right? When we think about schizophrenia or we think about psychedelics, like we're coming up against a lot of inaccurate, uh, in my opinion, kind of gross things that we're told from the media, from propaganda that aren't true, that aren't representative of either of those experiences. So I know for so many, you're a voice and they need to hear it so that they don't feel alone and isolated. I actually think that is like the biggest reason we have mental health issues, period. It's like people feel like they can't be honest about what they're experiencing,
Mhm.
because there's judgment. And
Absolutely.
we're told like that's not something that you talk about in polite society, right? And
Mm.
you have to just keep it together and never let
Yeah.
people see that you're not doing well. But guess what? Like
Yeah.
no one's doing well all the time.
Oh gosh. Yeah, 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 I agree. And I honestly I'm at a place where I don't care what people think of me, what they believe based on my diagnosis. I'm here to teach people. I really don't have much to hide or much to lose. So yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Schizophrenia and then psychedelics, it's like it's always been like this, like, oh, this is so bad for you. But actually, though, how much research has been done, how much experience, or how much does someone know about what they're talking about?
Yeah, man, there are a lot of armchair experts on the internet, right? We're like, what are you talking?
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
qualifications do you have to say this? I also just want
Mhm.
to say back that I think the best place to be is exactly where you are, which is other people's opinions, projections,
Yeah.
whatever. Like you're so solid in yourself that is not rocking you. And oh man, that is what I wish for every single person I work with is just to get to the place of like, I am good. I
Mhm.
don't need your validation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely agree. Yeah. So what are some very crappy stuff you've noticed with the media when it comes to, oh, let's connect it to spirituality because you
Oh,
mentioned ayahuasca. I've heard about ayahuasca journeys,
yeah.
and then if we connect it with religion, you go see the devil when you leave wherever you go. So, take me on a ride. Let me know what you think on those.
Okay. Yeah. I totally also just remembered I wanted to respond to one specific thing you said before, which is I think the biggest misconception I see is that people think microdosing is this like I lose control thing. And I get it because of the media and how it's portrayed, but truly microdosing, if you're doing it the way that I recommend, it is sub-perceptual, 100%. You don't know that you have taken, I put taken in air quotes for anyone who can see me,
Yeah.
taken anything. It's about the positive effects that are happening in your brain without any perceptual change and your, the way you perceive time, the way that colors look, all of that. It is the same, but you are calmer.
Yeah.
The best example to give is if someone like flips you off in or cuts you off in traffic that you don't flip them off, that you are then to say, okay, well, you must have really needed to get somewhere. I'm good. It just makes you a calmer, nicer person to be around. And when you pair that with intentional relearning, then you're going to see really positive long-term effects. So I did just want to say that. I think that's a big misconception. But I love that you asked this question because I saw a post from one of my good friends who's also in the psychedelic world yesterday.
Yeah.
And he talked about one side of the post said religion without mysticism. And it's
Mm,
like big egos always think they're right, think their religion is the only correct one. And then we talk about mysticism without religion. And it's like tripping way too often, never in their bodies, totally like unintegrated from the world. And then you
mhm.
have religion with mysticism. And like that is really the sweet spot. And that
Yeah.
to me is kind of everything. Because I would say, so many people worry about psychedelics as like, yeah, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole and I'm going to see the devil and I'm going to lose myself, right? But for me, I feel stronger in my connection than ever with God. I was raised Catholic, didn't really align with a lot of stuff that the Catholic Church did, never felt God in church. Felt God more as I got older and started to hike. When I'm outside and no one else is around and I'm in nature and I can see the beauty of the world, definitely feel God. And now I feel God every day with me, thanks to the beautiful doors that have opened as a result of psychedelics. And, in some ways, talking about psychedelics more popularly is positive because we're beating misconceptions. But in some ways, now everyone thinks they need to go do ayahuasca. And if you're listening to this, I would just say if you really feel like it's on your heart, then, trust that. But if you just saw a TikTok about an ayahuasca retreat in Costa Rica and now you think you want to go to Costa Rica and do an ayahuasca ceremony, maybe not.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
pause.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not for everybody.
It's not.
Yeah. And the thing is, most people are doing those things because they see someone else doing it.
Hmm.
They don't know if it's right for them. Is that where you come in?
That part, 100, like, just want to say that again. Just because you saw someone doing it
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's right for you, right? Seeing someone, you see lots of people play in the NFL. Guess what I'm not going to do? Go out there on Sunday and try to throw a football because it's not going to go well. Yeah, I think I'm really honest with people. First of all, like if we were having this conversation and you were like interested in microdosing, but you said, "Hey, Julie, I have this diagnosis," I would say, I'm so sorry. I'd love to point you in a different direction, but not the right fit for you. I really take the ego out of it. So if I sense that someone really wants to do it for this egoic reason or wants to kind of conquer. My background is in Latin American studies. And so I've thought a lot about colonialism and hegemony and concentration of power. And what I'm never going to do is facilitate for someone who I can tell has like a conquistador mindset where they're just trying to like get on top and amass like power and influence. That is not the person I want to work with. And I would just say that I am not for you if that's like your goal.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. How would you say mushrooms help people connect to their bodies?
Mm. Okay, so I wish everyone could see me. If you can't see me, I'll make a reel about this or something because I think it's really important that we think about it. But
Mhm.
so for most people, they feel really overwhelmed in their feelings, right? And that's why we actually loop. It's because we loop in our heads and we think about something over and over again, maybe, you just got broken up with, right? And you can't let it go. You're like, oh my God, they left me, they left me.
Hmm.
The reason we keep looping is because we never let that feeling of rejection, abandonment, loss, grief land in our bodies. And until we can let it land and we can process it, we're just going to keep looping it in our mind. The body leads, the mind follows. And until the body can be at peace, the mind never will. So, what psychedelics can do is give us, I like to call it a bubble of response between our thoughts and our feelings. So, perhaps you have a really big feeling and it's loss and you don't want to feel it. So, your mind just starts going into overdrive to protect yourself from feeling it. But if we can create a bubble of response around loss, then we can kind of like start to push the bubble and see, okay, how deep can I go in this bubble? What feels safe? Oh, no, no, that's a little bit too much still. Okay, but I can get a little bit closer. So instead of being a tsunami of feeling that we don't want to feel, it's more of a gentle wave, and we can ride the wave and we can learn to work with it. Because as a child, for many of us who weren't taught emotional attunement or processing, it is like a tsunami. It will take you down because you never learned the tools to handle it. But with microdosing, the tsunami becomes smaller and we create safety. And we're never going to do anything that doesn't feel safe. So until we have the safety around our feelings, we're never going to process them. And you're going to be stuck in a really anxious, looping mind.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Let's connect that with intuition and personal values. Uh,
Oh my God. Intuition
yeah,
is my favorite thing.
mine too.
Oh, it's so good. I didn't live by my intuition for so long. And I look back at that version of me and I'm like, you were wasting so much time. Because once, I mean, this is me. I would love to hear how you feel about it. But once I started listening to my intuition, like everything clicked, life was good. I mean, not that I didn't have any challenges anymore, but I was able to like trust myself and lead myself, and it all felt a lot smoother. How do you feel?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I love intuition because all of us have it even before we were born, because we're breathing in darkness and we come out where we're in light. Um, for me, most of my life I've spent it, I've stopped now, but I've spent it living for other people. I lived my culture, my expectations of what my parents wanted me to do and be, and then society. This is your skin color. This is what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to do that. Hello, look at my hair. I could care less. Right? Intuition says step in your power. Don't fear. Just do it. People are gonna judge, but who cares? So I'm living in my intuition and present now.
Wait, but can we also tie in how your hair has all these beautiful purple hues and like our chakra for intuition, our third eye is purple?
Yeah.
Like you are
Yeah.
literally embodying
Yeah.
intuition.
Yeah.
You just got chills. Yes.
Yeah, I just stopped living in the body, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I also love what you said about everyone has this programming from society about how you're supposed to live, right? Like
Oh yeah.
most people's parents. If your parents aren't like this, lucky you, one less thing you have to work through in life. But
Yeah.
parents did do this, right? Like that's why I went to go be a lawyer. It wasn't because I really wanted to. It was like my mom, it was figure something
Hmm.
out, do something that was socially acceptable. So I
Yeah.
totally agree. Once I figured out what I actually wanted, because honestly, that was challenging, and I had never stopped to think, what do I value? What would make me happy? I grew up finding safety in pleasing other people,
Mm.
so thinking what I wanted was revolutionary. But ever since I have
Yeah.
gotten clear on what it is that I really want and
Yeah.
created a life in alignment with those things, my life just, I finally can exhale. My life feels a million
Yeah.
times better, even though it is challenging. And my mom still would rather I just went back and was a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish that type of freedom for everybody. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing it to get attention for people to like me. I actually don't care if people like me, don't like me. I want people to see and taste what real, authentic freedom feels like and to live in it, to walk in it, and to stay in it because we step out every 2.5 second. Every time we're out, every time, everything we see, we fight against it. We want to have it and become it and want it, and then we get it. Some of the richest people in the world, they're so miserable.
I would say most probably are, right? Like they're
Yeah.
so consumed. Yeah, they
Yeah.
get so consumed with other people's opinions about them. And I just want everyone to get exactly where you are and saying, like, I don't care if you like me. I don't need you to like me. And that's not why I'm doing this.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Has that been something for you in the line of work that you do? How, obviously, not everyone loves what you do,
Yeah, no,
right?
not everyone loves what I do. I face a lot of familial backlash. I face a lot of like I grew up in a very small conservative town in Iowa, and I know there are like little chirpers like what is she
Mm,
doing? That's so great. And whatever, go ahead and chirp, but I ended a retreat a week ago. And one of the women at the retreat, I have a support for a month afterwards to help you reintegrate all the insights into your life. And so she was texting in this like group support and she just said, "Thank you. No one has ever been brave enough to be as honest with me as you are."
wow.
And that really like landed for me because I will tell people, I'll hold up the mirror in a very loving way, but
Hmm.
I think most people, what they're missing is someone to hold up the mirror and be like, this is what's actually happening. Because people sugarcoat and people pretend and they avoid conflict. And so then I was talking to my assistant who was on the retreat and helping me. And she knows better than anyone that I'm very direct. And she was like, "Have you always been like this?" And honestly, for most of my life, I lied so that I could tell someone whatever they wanted to hear from me. And I
Ooh,
would lie in weird ways, small ways, ways that you're like, why did you lie about that? Didn't matter. It was a way to gain approval. It was a defense mechanism so that I would always be accepted.
mhm.
Um, and for the last 5 years, I would say I don't lie. And
Yeah,
if you don't like what I have to say, I
yeah,
don't care.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm right there with you. And people feel that they need to tell those little lies just to be accepted, to fit in the group. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in the group. What does it do? Does it feed the soul? People content, right? So yeah, I love that you shared that. Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, that is such a good question for people to ask themselves. Is this feeding the soul or the ego?
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, like
yeah.
every day you should be asking yourself that, guys. Is this feeding my soul or my ego? Oh, that is so good. Put that on
Yeah.
a sticker.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You talk about integration quite a bit. Tell us more about it.
Yeah. So to me, integration is the thing that's just missing in all of this kind of work. Therapy, self-development, spirituality, psychedelics, coaching. It's like we go to therapy and maybe we have this huge aha moment and we're like, "Oh my God, I see it now. This is why I am the way I am." And it feels good and it feels powerful in the moment. And then you leave therapy and nothing actually changes in your life, right? You don't have
Mm.
better relationships. You haven't told that situationship that you need to stop seeing them. Um, you continue to say yes to things you want to say no to. It's like, okay, why? But I understand now, so why isn't anything different? Because understanding and embodiment are not the same thing. And so to me, integration, it is synonymous with embodiment. It's like I understand and I also do. I get it and I take actions that appropriately reflect that. And so my focus on integration is so big because, well, I don't really see anyone in the psychedelic space doing it, or at least not doing it the way that I do it. I'm like, that's pretty much my whole focus. I'm like, we could even just not microdose or go on a journey as long as you want to integrate some of these changes, you know? Because I actually think what everyone needs is not more tools. I think a lot of people have enough tools. Not everyone, but a lot of people do. They just don't know how or when to use them. And on that same retreat, this woman shared that her breath, her practice of breathing, has become so second nature that she was able to use it automatically in the journey. And I was like, you have reached peak integration, right? It's your way of being. So that's why it's so important to me because none of it matters if
Mm.
you don't integrate.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. You mentioned breath. I've been hearing it quite a bit. Obviously, all of us are breathing. We're not like drop dead, all right? but we don't consciously breathe.
Yeah. I
Does
would
that
actually
make sense?
no, 100%. And I
Yeah.
really don't like to say right or wrong. I really don't subscribe to that, but I do think a lot of people are breathing wrong, meaning they kind
Yeah.
of breathe and they bring their shoulders up, but
Mm,
if you look at a baby who is breathing most innately, their tummy is
yeah.
rising,
The tummy.
right?
Yeah.
It's not up here, it's all in their tummy. And so um I would say disconnection from breath is one of the main spots when reconnected, you experience so much relief and healing, and so much can be done from simply breathing. So, I have a very specific style of breath work that I facilitate, but breath work generally can refer to any time you're consciously breathing, because you're right, like everyone is breathing, or we wouldn't be alive,
Yeah.
but not everyone thinks about their breath. And when you can shift different parts of your breath, your inhale, your exhale, the length, if you're doing it from your nose, from your mouth, a lot can shift. You can shift your temperature, you can shift nausea, you can shift your energy. Like it's very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Because doing meditation, that's something they always start with.
Mhm.
Also, they kept going throughout the meditation, also end it with it. And they use a lot of those terms to be in the present moment, come back to the now. Uh, I mean, I haven't been in the now in a while, so like I've checked out. Like you can see me talking. I've mentally checked out, and I have to keep bringing myself back. And bringing myself back doesn't mean all of me is here. I don't know where what part of me is, but it's not here. It's
That's
it's
a good
it's a
point.
struggle.
It is an exercise for sure, right? People sometimes think like, oh, okay, like I'll just breathe, it's not that hard, or I can be present, it's not that hard, but it is difficult. It is really difficult to be fully 100% in the moment. And that is another reason why I do really like psychedelics, because it becomes much easier to fully give your attention to whatever is in the moment. But it also shows us our brains are freaking strong, because we can be having
Mhm.
this conversation and you can be like, wow, you know what? She said sandwich and that really sounds good.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Walk me through one of your ceremonies. First of all,
Ooh.
who do you work with? Both gender? Or
Oh, so on my retreats, I only do women because a lot of women have sexual trauma. And I think sometimes throwing in a man can be like, I don't feel safe to let go, or this is a vulnerable space and I've been betrayed in vulnerable spaces by men. So I'm not like a man hater, but I do men at my retreats.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, So I really have like the formula nailed down on my retreats and ceremonies down. So we do start with breath work that first night we get there, because the style that I use was created to mimic a psychedelic experience. So I tell people, okay, you're in control of your rocket ship tonight. If you want to go big, breathe hard. If you don't, that's okay. But tomorrow, there's no choice.
Yeah, yeah,
Once you eat
yeah,
them, you eat them.
yeah.
So we start with some breath work. That's really good. And it's a beautiful way to open up for the weekend to just
Mhm,
really connect and
mhm,
land in one place together, because we breathe as a team. So
mhm,
Saturday morning starts with some flight instructions. I want people to feel so comfortable in this experience, like they know what they could encounter and what to expect, because your mind is going to create more safety if it feels like it knows more. And if your mind feels safe, you're going to have a better experience. Oftentimes, why people have such a negative experience is because their mind felt very unsafe, and psychedelics are very suggestible. So, if you feel unsafe, you're going to create a scarier motif inside your journey.
mhm.
We talk about intentions. Intention is so important. I like to go with something very simple but beautiful, like A Course in Miracles. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say and to who? Just like, you
Mhm.
know what, come through, show me, I'm open, I'm receptive. But whatever someone's intention is beautiful. I help them create an anchor or a mantra to come back to in the ceremony if things get a little hairy. Some somatic practices that they can use to in case
Mhm.
things get a little crazy, some breathing they can come back to. We bless the mushrooms, and in the blessing, I always make sure to honor the indigenous roots, right? Because
Mhm.
I understand that I am a white woman, that I am not culturally tied to this work, but I have a deep reverence and respect for it. Always thank Maria Sabina. She was a woman in Oaxaca, and some white guys in the 50s came and totally exploited her, and but that she is the reason that we now have psychedelics in this country, or psilocybin in particular. So always thanking her. And then I, in reverence for the indigenous tradition, I call on the energies, like call on the energies of the directions, the elements. I love to call on animal energy, and I ask people like, hey, if you really identify with a giraffe, like
Yeah.
call on that energy, like let it be here with you. Animals are some of the most potent teachers, I think.
Yeah.
I we take one little mushroom and we give it somewhere to the nature specific to our place. So maybe it's a cactus or a tree.
Mhm,
Um, and then we talk about dosage because it is different person to person. And
mhm,
from there, we eat together and everyone lays down. I facilitate in a therapeutic um, setting, but I am not a therapist. But people lie down, they put an eye mask on. It is an inward journey.
mhm,
Um, and what unfolds, unfolds. There's music is a very important part of it. So there's a playlist that goes along with the experience. And it's interesting. I can't explain this scientifically, but energetically, everyone lands their plane at around the same time. And
yeah.
from there, it's like, okay, let's come back to life. Let's put this puzzle
Mm.
back together.
Yeah, that's really cool. So how big are the groups?
5 to 6. Would never do
Okay.
it bigger than that because then I have to bring in someone else. And I really like to kind of be in charge of the direction of things, I've realized. I'm not really a control freak and I'm pretty easygoing, except for at my retreats. I want
Yeah,
them to go in
yeah,
my
yeah.
uh so I also like that. Like we become besties over the weekend, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Um, have you run into some break walls? Here's what I mean by that.
Yeah, tell
People
me.
have been through the process, the journey. You give it your all. You did all you could, and they resist, and they didn't experience much. And they criticize your work that it's not good or it didn't work. I call those people break walls because they're not willing to submit and surrender.
Surrender. Woof. Let's say that one again. Yes. No, I've only had, and I mean, maybe there are people who have been break walls, but they haven't ever like said anything to me, except there's this one moment. It was my second retreat. And I thought we had a really beautiful time in the space. Um, I was excited to continue to connect with her and support her. I don't really know what happened, but she never showed up for any of the integration calls. And I reached out a few times just to say, hey, I just genuinely want to make sure you're okay. Could you
Mhm,
just reply to my message? And I don't, to my knowledge, she's never like disparaged me or said anything bad, but she really just
mhm,
fell off. And I
mhm,
don't I don't know what happened to her. And have looked back and thought like what could have gone wrong? And I'm not sure, but actually the usual case scenario is that people from other retreats without fail will text me when they know I have a retreat that weekend and say, I'm so excited for the women. Like, this journey is going to be so beautiful for them. It's going to give them exactly what they need. And actually, two of the women who came to my last retreat have already signed up for another one. And that makes me feel like, okay, they
yeah,
believe in this, like they are happy with their experience and they want to go even deeper. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
sending that woman a lot of love. If she's listening and wants to reach out, I truly
yeah,
care about how she's
yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing. I think sometimes some people come in our lives. I've said this over and over for a season,
Yeah.
for a reason, for a purpose, whether we know what it is or not. And they also teach us, whether it's through rejection or criticism. I see everything as a gift. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me because I need it.
That is my favorite. I just had a client who texted me that today. She was like, the computer didn't get delivered, but I trust that it's happening for me. And I was like, I'm
Yeah.
done. It's happened. I'm
Yeah,
so happy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yes, amen, 100%.
yeah, yeah. What if all of us could think that way and see life that way?
I feel like we would be much happier as a society and kinder to one another.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So do you work with clients only in the States or other countries?
So I only have companies that I know, like, and trust in the United States and Canada. I know there's a good company in the Netherlands, um, that I could recommend people to, but my issue is like not knowing companies that could source the microdosing capsules for people. And I only do, well, actually, I'm doing retreats internationally. I'm going to Costa Rica and Mexico this year. So this is kind of my
Oh.
first foray into international, but primarily the States and Canada. And that's kind of a bottleneck because I don't know. I couldn't make sure that you were able to receive your capsules.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I guess different countries have different laws when it comes to what is a drug or
Yep.
not a drug. Right? Yeah, yeah. Very cool. Costa Rica, I've heard so much about it. I think Costa Rica is the heart of Gaia. There's a piece of it in there somewhere because the energy there, lots of people go there.
Yeah.
Lots. Lots. There's something there. I feel it. I hope one day I go and experience it too. Without ayahuasca or whatever else there. You know, I can just meditate without going too high. I'm already high enough. Yep. Yep.
I hope that you make it there too. No
I'm
ayahuasca.
high on life. I tell people that. I'm high on life.
Yes, girl.
Something must be working in my meds. So yeah, yeah. So Julie, is there anything else that you'd like to share that we didn't get to talk about?
Ooh. Oh, honestly, something that's really near and dear to my heart is one time a woman said this to me after I gave her a compliment, and I just wanted to say it to your listeners and to you, but anything that you see in another person that you like, that you love, that you admire, you're only able to see that because it also exists within you. Life is just a
Mm,
mirror. So
yeah,
all the good you see in others is a
yeah.
reflection of the goodness you have within you. And I hope that you take that into your day and spread that joy to others.
Mm, you should quote that. That's awesome. Um, have you been thinking about doing more? Writing books? Um,
Wait, that is so weird. Your intuition must be on fire. I'm writing a book.
okay. Is it a secret? Did I just spoiled
No,
it?
no, I just I told it to my retreat ladies. I haven't really talked about it. My mentor invited me to like keep dreaming. He even was
Mm,
like, "Do you like have to do this facilitation thing?" And I was like, "Actually, facilitation is where I feel like I plug into God, to source,
yeah,
to like
yeah.
my retreats, I feel like I am
Hmm.
completely tapped into something bigger than me. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel lit up, so I would never give that up because I that's where I feel yeah, my highest self literally come through, but I also have felt like I love coaching, I love retreats, and I also kind of feel like I have that in a rhythm now.
Yeah.
And I like having something that's is stretchy in my life, and I like to write, and so I'm writing no one else has written it, but a concept comprehensive guide to microdosing.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's the sky's the limit. There's so much more that you're thinking of doing or can do and know that you will do. Just don't overwhelm yourself because I've done it. I've done it. Yeah, that's so
What
cool.
about you?
About a book, people
Oh,
have told me to write a book.
yeah. I mean, I think your openness and willingness to talk about your mental health diagnoses would be really impactful for
Mhm.
people. I know I dated a guy who had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and he felt really like isolated and
Oh
alone
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
people didn't understand him.
Hmm.
And I truthfully didn't. Like I didn't quite understand some of the stuff he told me because I never experienced it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it can be. I talked to I interviewed him for his second time on the podcast. He's a past life regressionist and he does other spiritual work as well. So I grilled him and he answered every single question beautifully. I highly recommend people to go listen to it. His name is Albert Creaney on my channel video. All right. And I grilled bro. I'm like, I talked to him about schizophrenia, borderline PTSD. I'm like, okay, let's strip modern thoughts and experience and studies on a spiritual level. What the heck is schizophrenia?
Yeah, what do you say?
So he
I'm
gave
gonna
me
listen.
he gave me the answer that I already knew but
Yeah.
wasn't sure about.
Okay.
So it's accessing other dimensions.
That makes sense.
Like here we have physical wall in the um spiritual aspect. Sometimes you go through it. So
Yes.
you see a little bit of it, and that's why you may hear something there. And then you got spooked, and then you go there again, and then it become a whole illness thing that people label. But people that are labeled the outcast, I'm a lover and sucker for them, especially those with mental health. Because you're right, it can feel alone and lonely
Yep.
because of what I have. Obviously, I didn't get to this point by not doing the work, by not crying, by not feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I have to say sometimes to people is I'm schizophrenic. All of a sudden, they assume I'm dangerous. I'm going to hurt them, that I'm not thinking clearly. I'm here to be a voice. I always tell people to be a voice for people that have been suppressed, continues to be suppressed and ignored because society tells you you need to be more open. Tell us what you're thinking. I see that at counseling offices and doctors. And then you tell them exactly what you're feeling. You get, no, wait, sort of punished for it.
Yes.
It
No,
happened
it's
to
like
me. So,
insurance.
yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you tell people the truth, and then somehow, I mean, insurance is such a scam, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're
So,
punished for
yeah.
truth.
Yeah. I just don't know how and what goes through people's mindset to expect people to open up. And the minute they do, they tear them, they shred them to the ground.
Yeah, or
This
they
is why people
invalidate
don't
them.
talk. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, that's not right. It's like, well, it's not right because it's not a fact. It's like how I'm feeling.
Yeah. 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 That's why we continue to have crisis
Yeah.
and many lives that are lost that could have been reversed had someone listened. So that's what I'm here for.
Listening is such an I think that's honestly the best coaches can just listen to someone because no one really listens to one another anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very true. And that's why I have a podcast. Like I'm here to listen. Because normally people ask me, I've been on so and so's podcast. This is how it is. And what's your method system? I'm like, which one? I don't have one. Just show up, come as you are, talk, and then that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, well, I really want to read your book because I want to understand
yeah.
better. And I think, yeah, just having that voice as someone for someone who is going through what you're going through, or maybe, before you got to such a good place is going to be really supportive.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's in the future for sure. I can foresee it happening. I have a heck of a story. So I have to properly digest and pick how I'm healing and then from there I'll definitely be sharing more. Yeah, yeah.
I also think you should do your own Audible. I really like your voice.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so when you record it, I think you should record it. I
Thank
think it
you.
adds something.
Oh, yeah, thank you. People have told me that because one time I did meditation.
Mhm.
And it was a male. He said he just passed out, fall asleep. It was very soothing.
Yeah, soothing. That's a good word. You're like very even keeled.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I
Thank
really like
you.
that. You're so
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you.
I mean it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So do you have a podcast? Have you been thinking of doing more?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I just had a meeting with someone today about
Okay.
starting a podcast.
Okay. I think there are some podcasts, some with the title of what you do. I feel that some is left out. Some lots of information are being left out. I think people need that coming from you, how you facilitate and putting in your experience.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you for that affirmation. Yeah, I feel good about a podcast. It's coming. It's just like it's almost like I just decided I'm trying to get pregnant and I'm thinking about it. It's not official yet. But with a podcast, not with a baby.
Yeah. 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 You're pregnant with dreams.
I'm very pregnant with dreams. super pregnant.
Yeah, yeah. Me, I'm overdue, like overdue. So,
That's such a good
yeah, yeah,
analogy.
yeah. Thank you. So as we wrap up, Julie, where can people find you if they want to work with you?
Honestly, if you want to work with me or you just want to ask me a question, you're like, this opened up a whole other thing that I'm now wondering about. Go ahead and you can message me on Instagram at Julie Cyvonne, JuliieCyvonne, or that's my website, juliecyvonne.com. There's more information about my retreats. There's more information about different programs and just who I am if you just want to stalk and be a little curious and don't want to come message me on Instagram. But I promise I'm very friendly and I love to talk about this. That's my favorite thing, obviously. And I'm so grateful for your time. And
Yeah,
when I get everything up and running, I want to have your conversation on my podcast.
definitely. I'd love to come. Definitely. Yeah. One last question for you, which I ask every guest. What is the meaning of life for you?
Oh, joy. I think we were truly came here to enjoy life and to experience what it's like to have a physical body as a soul. And I think I encourage people to look at joy as joy and gratitude for even the hard moments, right? Because it's all about the perspective of the duality. Like I lost my dad when I was really little, and without that grief, I don't think I'd be able to know as much joy because it swings both ways. But um, life is hard and really crappy things are happening, like terrible things are happening to people in the real world. I don't deny that.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think it's important for especially someone like me to access joy every day and be grateful for it because not everyone has that opportunity. But I think I really believe God put us all here to experience joy.
Mhm. Oh, I agree. Yeah, yeah. And we only get this body once.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've been many colors, spoken different languages, but I keep coming back black. So there's a mission and purpose for that. And I'm
Really?
loving this. I'm loving this body. So,
How many times do you feel you've been black?
more than I can count. I've had different visions of past lives. I know I was a slave in the 1800s, and um, my soul resonate more with it
Hmm.
because there's more lessons there. Not that there aren't lessons for anybody, everybody else. There is. So a lot. Just different physiques and looks.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
definitely felt that I've been a boy before and that this isn't my first rodeo.
You have.
But
I think you
yeah.
were also a healer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
And more so like shamanic, like they call it plant medicine here. We have that in my country too, in Haiti. Yeah, yeah.
Mm, yeah. Okay.
Like
I
a
received that.
yeah,
Thank you.
like a plant whisper.
Ooh,
You're
I do
showing
talk to trees
people
a
that,
lot.
that the plants have medicine power, that they can help heal, not to be afraid of them because they're here to serve and help. So, yeah.
I definitely feel that. I love to talk to trees, so
Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, Julie, thank you so much for your time. What an incredible conversation this was. Can't wait to see what you do, and I look forward to hearing more about your book, all books and podcasts.
thank you, ditto.